nākāśaṁ vidyate kiṁ-cit pūrvaम्-ākāśa-lakṣaṇāt alakṣaṇam prasajyeta syāt pūrvam yadi lakṣaṇam.
nākāśaṁ vidyate kiṁ-cit pūrvam ākāśa-lakṣaṇāt alakṣaṇam prasajyeta syāt pūrvam yadi lakṣaṇāt. MMK chapter 5 verse 1. A priori, before space is defined, not an inch of space is found. If space were there prior to defining, that would mean it lacking defining characteristics.
alakṣaṇo na kaś-cic bhāvaḥ saṃvidyate kvacit asaty bhāve kramatāṃ kuha lakṣaṇam.
alakṣaṇo na kaś-cic bhāvaḥ saṃvidyate kvacit asaty alakṣaṇe bhāve kramatāṃ kuha lakṣaṇam. 5.2. But a thing without defining characteristics is not encountered anywhere at all. There being no thing without defining characteristics, where should defining be expected to gain a foothold?
nālakṣaṇe lakṣaṇasya pravṛttir na salakṣaṇe salakṣaṇālakṣaṇābhyāṃ nāpy anyatra pravartate.
nālakṣaṇe pravṛttir na salakṣaṇe salakṣaṇālakṣaṇābhyāṃ nāpy anyatra pravartate. 5.3. Neither in the absence of a defining mark nor in the presence of a defining mark is there instigation of defining, or in the hidden meaning, instigation of effort to hit the mark. Nor is the wheel set in motion at some other place, away from where a defining mark is present or absent.
lakṣaṇā sampravrittau ca na lakṣyam upapadyate lakṣasyanupapattau ca lakṣaṇasyāpyasambhavah.
lakṣaṇā sampravrittau ca na lakṣyam upapadyate lakṣasyanupapattau ca lakṣanasyāpyasambhavah. 5.4. Again, where defining has not started, an object to be defined does not appear. And where there is no appearance of an object to be defined, equally, there is no possibility of an act of defining. Or, in the hidden meaning, again, where aiming at the mark has not started, a target does not appear. And where there is no appearance of a target, equally, there is no possibility of aiming to hit the mark. So I've gone back and retranslated those 4 verses, or those 3 verses, on the basis of looking more deeply into what the meaning of verse 4, the meaning of lakṣaṇ, the object to be defined or the object to be characterized in verse 4 is lakṣaṇ, or lakṣaṇ can mean target more generally. So for example, in the first verse, before space is defined, ākāśa-lakṣaṇāt, not an inch of space is found. And I think this can be understood as negating, if we understand that space is there pre-existing and it's my zazen which gives space its direction, that will be a false understanding. you know, not a terribly bad idea, but insofar as no idea is a good idea, it's a view to be abandoned on the basis of emptiness. So to translate lakṣaṇa as defining seems to work better in that context. On the other hand, alakṣaṇaṁ suggests being without characteristics. So in order to make a bridge, I've translated that as defining alakṣaṇaṁ, lacking defining characteristics. And in the verse 2 it says that, of course, there is no, one doesn't encounter anywhere at all a thing without defining characteristics. Bhāvaḥ alakṣaṇah. So defining characteristics should not be understood in a non-empty way. That doesn't mean that the chair in front of me, it's not negating that it has its defining characteristics, being made of wood and being able to, you know, the solidity of the wood, being able to support a heavy body against gravity and all those kind of characteristics. Those are true. That those descriptions are certain, they're conventionally true, but ultimately defining characteristics are empty would be the point of that. A thing without defining characteristics is not encountered anywhere at all. And then thinking again about the meaning of kramatāṃ in the second line, kramatāṃ is passive imperative. So let there be gaining a foothold. So I thought the question is where. So where should lakṣaṇa defining, where should let defining gain a foothold, where? So it occurred to me to translate it, instead of where could defining gain a foothold, the sort of the more, what's the word there, should, the sense of should, not imperative, injunctive, or whatever it is. Where should defining be expected to gain a foothold? I've changed the translation to that. There being no thing without defining characteristics, where should defining be expected to gain a foothold? Then in verse 3, already I had the sense that lakṣaṇasya pravṛttir, the instigation of lakṣaṇa, suggests lakṣaṇa not just as a characteristic but as an action. Pravṛttir means to get it started. So before translated it as the instigation of characterizing, but then I started to think defining worked better, because defining is more active, isn't it? Like defining space will be giving shape to space. Characterizing space is more descriptive, not so dynamic, not so active. So defining seems to work better in the first place. So he's talking about instigation of an action, instigation of defining. But then, going deeper still, lakṣaṇa can mean aiming at. What does the dictionary say again for lakṣaṇa? The act of aiming at. The act of aiming at. So that has meaning as well. So I've put that in square brackets. Neither in the absence of a defining mark nor in the presence of a defining mark is there instigation of defining, or is there instigation of effort to hit the mark. So what that suggests to me is that if we're steeped in playing sports, like playing darts or playing rugby or doing martial arts, implicit in them is efforts to hit a mark. That's what makes them fun, isn't it? You succeed or you fail, you know. So you can say that he's inviting us to explore what it is to make effort to hit the mark. So to aim at something, the act of aiming. If lakṣaṇa means the act of aiming, he's inviting us, I think, to explore what that means. Does the act of aiming require a mark that you've got to hit? Does effort to hit the mark require a target, a definite target that you have to hit or miss? So when we practice zazen, for example, is it that the target is to experience what the Buddha experienced? Like in Japanese, in Chinese, there's the phrase buchin, butsu in, so, or butsu shin in. In means a stamp, you know, like a seal that you put into wax. So butsu shinin means the stamp of the Buddha's mind seal. So it suggests like the Buddha's mind has got its definite characteristics, and the aim is to receive that stamp. So that's one way. It's a kind of an inspiring conception. Is it useful or not? Well, it's probably useful at the level of conventional truth, but ultimately, if as F.M. Alexander said, there is no right position, there's no right posture, but there is a right direction, then a truer or more empty approach is to wish to go open-endedly in the right direction. But to that end, is it helpful to have a goal or not? I think it's an open question. It's something to explore. But translating instigation of effort to hit the mark, I like it as a translation because it invites exploration along those lines. And I think that was Nagarjuna. It might have been his intention to do that. Then the second line says, nor is the wheel set in motion at some other place, away from where a defining mark is present or absent. So, well, it's a statement. Is aiming important? Is aiming not important? That's the question. But what's not in question? It doesn't start with a target or the absence of a target or somewhere else. It's like samsara has no beginning, as he says in the chapter that's about samsara. Samsara has no beginning, and everything else has no beginning. Because to have a beginning is a non-empty conception. So if we think that, if we say, for example, aiming to hit the target is important, and that starts with a target, well, that's false, because it doesn't start with anything. I think that's what he's maybe suggesting in the second line. Nor is the wheel set in motion, na pravartate. So pravṛttir originally means to roll forward. So that's why it occurred to me to translate it, na pravartate. Nor is the wheel set in motion, anyatra, at some other place. Then first of all, I've explained in excruciating detail already in the video that's titled MMK 5.4.
nākāśaṁ vidyate kiṁ-cit pūrvam ākāśa-lakṣaṇāt alakṣaṇam prasajyeta syāt pūrvaṁ yadi lakṣaṇam. alakṣaṇo न kaś-cic bhāvaḥ saṃvidyate क्वचित् asaty-lakṣaṇe bhāve kramatāṃ kuha lakṣaṇam nālakṣaṇe lakṣaṇasya pravṛttir न salakṣaṇe salakṣaṇālakṣaṇābhyāṃ nāpy pravartate lakṣaṇā sampravrittau ca न लक्ष्यम् उपपद्यते लक्ष्यस्यानुपपत्तौ च लक्षणस्याप्यसम्भवः.
Did I hit the target there? Very probably not.